homework linked to better testing scores at the end of a unit. This was in math, in reading, in English, like across the board almost at an elementary level. Practice, what I'm saying is practice teaches critical thinking. It teaches problem solving, while homework is more for time management, self-regulation, understanding I need to get this done. How do I set myself up to best do so, right? Data of college students, over 70,000, over 300 schools, shows that study habits is the highest indicator of college performance, graduating, and academic achievements. I work in a school. We send home like optional work for families to do. And the kids who do that, have their families do that work, it's like night and day with the kids who don't. They're way better when they come at working independently. They need much less help. I think the repetitions can help. And then there's also data to just back this up. There's meta-analysis in 2015 of almost 900 students. It showed benefit in academic achievement. This was on all levels of education in high school, middle school, and elementary. In 2008, there was a meta-analysis. This was 5 studies. This was at the elementary school level. Specifically, it showed that homework linked to better testing scores at the end of a unit. This was in math, in reading, in English, like across the board almost at an elementary level. The specific thing to focus on is that homework is done right? And there's research that shows there's 5 hallmarks that makes homework effective, and that's purpose, efficiency, ownership, competency, and aesthetic appeal. The last one just being obviously, like make it fun for the kids, right? And that helps build, if it meets those, homework is shown to build academic motivation, self-regulation. It can build better study habits, time management, self-regulation, and more parental involvement. Obviously, if you have homework, your parents are more likely to help you. That gets them more involved. These things alone, these traits that homework build, aside from the academic performance it's directly linked to, is also linked to better testing scores. The last thing I'll mention is data of college students, over 70,000, over 300 schools, shows that study habits is the highest indicator of college performance, graduating, and academic achievements.
If you're in any extracurriculars, like if you're at school till, let's say, 3, school gets out at 3, and you got to stay for choir rehearsal till 5, and then you get off at 5, get picked up, 10-minute drive home or whatever, 15 minutes, 5:15, get washed up. It's time to start working on homework for maybe 40 minutes, sit down and have dinner. And then after dinner, go straight back to homework. And then that's it. That's your whole evening. But that's only if you're in one extracurricular. If you're doing choir and, you want to go to youth group or something too, and you got youth group at like 7, I mean, you're going to be doing homework at 9, 10, 11 p.m., waking up at 5:45 to catch the bus. Other studies are showing that 70% of teens, so talking about high schoolers, aren't getting their 8 hours of sleep. 79% of them aren't even getting 7 hours. They're getting less than that. And so these kids are very sleep deprived. It's saying the studies say that they need actually about 9 hours of sleep. A lot of jobs, like so schools to prepare you for the job market and to have career and all that. Most jobs are not going to have homework. It's you clock out at 5 and you drive home and that is it. And you're not, I'm not making drinks at the bar at home and then bringing them in, like when I'm at home, I'm at home. And so this idea of like preparing them for school or for jobs, it's not even really doing that because that's not how jobs work. You get to clock out, you get to leave and be done with it. So I just feel like we're stunting people's childhoods. They're not having time to hang out with friends, explore activities, extracurriculars, because they're worried about homework when they could be doing that during the school day where they should be learning. So those are kind of my initial
Sure.
arguments.
Okay, yeah, good. So I just took a couple notes because I want to reply to the different kind of parts of that. The first
Sure.
thing seemed more like an argument against too much homework. I would agree too much homework is bad. Most schools aren't going to give you 30 minutes of homework for each class. I don't know where you get that idea from. Most schools aren't even, they are kind of blocked off where you're doing like around 3 subjects a day. There's actually studies done on this as well, that homework up to 90 minutes a day, 90 minutes seems to be about the limit where homework is diminishing returns after that point. So I would say that your argument is just for too much homework, which I would agree with you. It's not an argument against homework itself, because I would say that homework under 90 minutes is shown to be beneficial. The last thing you said I thought was really insane. You said school was for the job market. I don't think that's true at all. I think school is for critical thinking, for problem solving, for independence. It's for a lot of the things that also that I linked out for habits like self-regulation, time management. And then that's the other part that I wanted to get into, as you were saying about extracurriculars and and this, and you could have your time taken up. Well, I think that that's what childhood development is for. And if you want to do those things and you can, I think that that's perfectly fine. And it teaches you stuff that will be beneficial for the rest of your life: time management, self-regulation, emotional control. There's studies on this as well that I have an analysis of over 200,000 kids find that those who can meet self-regulation principles, these kind of like time management things, these different principles I've listed out in early school years, if you can get that down in your early school years, it's linked not only with higher academic performance, a higher likelihood to graduate college, but higher social aptitude as an adult and better just overall life outcomes. So I just think even through what you're saying, and you're kind of depicting it as a lot, I think that that's what childhood development is for, and it's linked to better outcomes later on.
Yeah. So the reason I'm talking about a lot is, one, from my own experiences, that's just how much homework there was. And two, Stanford did a study and found that the highest performing high schools are assigning an average of 3.1 hours a night. So we're talking about you get home at 3 and you're working till dinner. And then after dinner, you got to go, shower, take a bath or whatever,
When was
maybe
that
watch
study
it.
from?
I would have to click
I
on
would
where
assume that
it's
that was
from.
like a decade old or more.
Let's see, I can pull it. Now, this is, you are right, it's from 2014. But
Yeah.
of course, I'm talking about my experiences. This is when I would have been in high school too, would have been in 2014. So, admittedly, I don't have a kid in high school. I know you have a kid in
Yeah. Not in high
primary
school.
school, but
And I don't work at the high school level. I'm K through 8, the school I work in, but
right.
the way we do it is no more than 90 minutes, and this is how most schools do it. They three
But
minutes a day.
this is also to assume that they like know what they're doing. I can speak from mine. It would take me 90 minutes just to do my math worksheet because couldn't do math to save my life. So it also depends on what the assignment is, how much they're struggling with it, and
Sure, but
maybe.
that's part of time management, though, isn't it? Wouldn't that be an important skill to learn? Would be how to manage your time to get
Well,
things.
it's not time. There's no amount of time management skills that can help you just know something you don't know.
Well, if you know it's
So
going to take you longer to do, then it would be managing your time to where you have the ability to take the time you need to get it done.
yeah, but you can't manage your time. You don't get to manage your time as a child. You are on adult time. You have to be in school 7 hours. So you
Mhm.
don't have those 7 hours that you can play with. If
You
your
get,
parents signed you up
are
for
you
piano
saying that kids
lessons,
get no free time?
I mean, their free time is scheduled by the adults. So not really. Like they decide when you got to sit down and do your homework from at 3. They will decide that for you. I mean, not every parent is going to, but
Yeah.
hypothetically, they
I
can
don't
do that.
know if I agree with that, and I would say, if anything, now what you're detailing is bad parenting. If you have a kid that has to get their homework done, and you're like signing them up for piano lessons and this to where they have no free time after they get off of school, I think you're a bad parent at that point. And you're
Well,
doing
that's what I'm saying
you're
is
doing
you
it
can't
without even
sign them.
asking your kid what they want. Does that sound like a good parent
Well,
to
sure.
you?
I'm saying
That sounds like an insane parent.
well, obviously they would say
Weekend,
like, oh, I want to play soccer or whatever. And you sign them up.
like
Like, I'm not
against
saying
your
you
kid's
force
wishes.
them. No, no, no. I'm not saying you force them. I'm saying they tell
You
you
just
they,
said your free time is scheduled by the parents. Well, no, that's the kid choosing, right? And I would think that then you should
yeah,
write
but
that
the
in,
parent gets to decide, no, you're not doing soccer or yes, I'm signing you
right?
up. So it's
And I
like, it's
think
still ultimately in the parent's hands, but
all
that's
of that should be
sort of a
weighed in.
non sequitur.
Well, it's
What?
something the kid should learn to consider, right? He should also weigh that into his decision making of, if he wants to play soccer, well, do I have the time to still get my homework done? You would agree that's an
Yes.
important skill to understand that, right?
To understand time management, but I'm saying they shouldn't have to make the choice between waste of time work and something that
So
actually helps
how do they learn time management?
through. What do you mean through their day? I mean, they have, if you're doing it all during school, then you can decide, I'm going to work on math first so that I can do so I have enough time to do my English assignment. Like if you have, let's say we have a 2 hour
Why would
work
they do
period at the
homework?
end of the
Wait,
day.
why would they do that at school? Why would you spend school is for guided instruction, right? And it's to probe critical thinking. So you want someone guiding you through this that can like
Yes, yes, and
probe
that's
you
when
to
you
see
should be
about.
doing the work so that you have your teacher there to help you. Exactly.
There's a difference between homework and practice, right? And there's like literature on these two things.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
So like practice is like when you're going through something with instruction, like when your teacher it is, and like I know like I'm just this is like what they're just labeled as like semantically. Practice is when you're like going through something with your teacher in class and you guys are all working on it together. It's considered
Yes,
practice,
yes, yes.
practicing it. And
I
then
mean, you were in
homework,
school.
and then yeah, homework is what you're scheduled to do in
Yes, yes, yes. But
right?
you were in school. Uh, Tell me, maybe your school experience is different. Last 15 minutes of class. Okay, tonight you guys are going to do pages 3 and 4, problems 1 through 12, and then problems
Yeah.
30 through 60.
So
You have 15 minutes right now at the end of class to work on it. Start working on it, and then you go finish it at home, obviously. And during that 15 minutes, you can go up and ask the teacher, like, I didn't really get this.
sure, yes, I
The-
think that part
and
of
I'm
time
saying
management,
they should just do that, and that is the work. You just do all of that work, but you have a different
no,
time
because
of
then you're taking away from the guided instruction, which should be most of what school is.
how
Because
are you taking it away from the guided instruction.
well, if you're giving more time for independent work, then you're taking away from guided instruction. If you're only like if it's 15 minutes, then you're saying the other 6 hours and 45 minutes, obviously lunch and stuff, but that is going to be guided instruction. Well, if you up from 15 minutes of the independent work to, well, now we're going to give you 2 hours. Well, that 6
Yeah.
hours and 45 minutes becomes 4 hours and 45 minutes, right? You have to take that time from somewhere. So, and they teach different skills is what I'm trying to say is when the practice, what I'm saying is practice teaches critical thinking. It teaches problem solving, while homework is more for time management, self-regulation, understanding I need to get this done. How do I set myself up for, to best do so, right?